Over the years, I've spoken about a lot of dark internet rabbit holes, but there's one out there right now that is just hiding in plain sight, and we need to talk about it. You may have seen the Bop House on TikTok recently, and to you, they may seem like just another content house. But if you don't know who they are, let me explain it to you. The Bop House is made up of numerous OnlyFans creators. Sophie Rain, Camila Arajo, Aisha Sophie, Alina Rose, Julia Filipino, Summer Iris, and Ava Reyes. All of the women are aged between 19 and 24, and some people have even described the house as the modern day Playboy mansion. They all live under one roof and produce content for their millions of TikTok followers. The 6-bedroom house allegedly costs $75,000 per month to rent, but that is nothing considering that one of the creators, Sophie, claims to have made over $43 million in just a singular year from her OnlyFans account. And in the most recent December and January alone, all of the women combined made over $30 million. So money is certainly not a problem for these women. But they're determined to continue to make content because they love what they do. Realistically, they could probably afford to retire already, but that isn't the life that they want to live. And so they continue to post a lot of videos for their over 3 million followers. So what actually is a bop? Because I know that I didn't know what this word meant before finding out about this house, so I'm feeling old. Well, according to a few sources, the word bop refers to a man or a woman, but usually a woman, who posts their body on the internet, or someone who gets it on with a lot of people. It's usually used in a misogynistic way, so they are sort of reclaiming the word, I guess. But you might be sitting here wondering why I'm telling you all the lore on an OnlyFans house, and that's because they will seemingly do anything for attention, and this highlights a much darker rabbit hole. Just a few scrolls in their comment sections and you can find out that a lot of the people who are consuming their content are most likely minors. Of course, they won't be the people actually subscribing to the OnlyFans because they can't do that and it's illegal, but there's nothing wrong technically with them watching the videos on TikTok. They're not really posting anything, actually illegal to their TikTok account, but it's certainly still concerning that the main audience of a bunch of adult models seem to be people who are under the age of 18. And on the other side of that, the other part of their audience are mainly creepy adults. I'm not saying that if you subscribe to an OnlyFans, you're immediately a creep. It's your money. Do what you want. But a lot of the more creepy people who follow them will put their opinions out into the open. We'll dive more into that later, but just keep in mind that there are very much two sides to their audience, and neither of them are good. So with these people in mind, people who are quite impressionable in different ways, they are bound to latch on to anyone who you bring into the content house. It doesn't have to be a member, but even just a guest appearance. And who did they decide to bring on but another content creator who has some pretty serious allegations against him. A few years ago, James Charles was exposed for repeatedly speaking to minors inappropriately. The internet did its thing where people cared for a while but eventually forgot, and it seems like creators did too, because the Bop House invited him for a collab. In a TikTok video posted at the start of March, they joked about how he was going to be the new member. Some of the comments reminded people about what he had actually been called out for in the past, rightfully so, but other people were simply complimenting his makeup and saying what a great addition he would be to the house. The video racked up over 25,000 likes, and it goes to show just how far people will go for some online views. Because think about the amount of impressionable minors who have now gone over to the channel of someone who has actually been revealed to have inappropriately spoken to those type of people in the past. It's very disturbing, and we really shouldn't be giving these people any sort of platform. But if you thought that collaborating with a known predator was the worst, then you would sadly be wrong, because it seems like the Bop House just cannot detect right from wrong. Because this month, they invited an underaged influencer over to the house and even joked about her joining. Piper Rockelle is a creator who you may be familiar with because she has been doing YouTube since a very young age. There are a lot of allegations against her mother, some of them coming from people who used to be in her videos and claimed they were abused by her, and Piper is also definitely being manipulated, even if she can't see it yet. Piper is 17 years old, having been born on the 21st of August 2007, and back in December when the Bop House were asking people who they think should be invited to the house, a lot of people were genuinely suggesting that the girls reach out to Piper. They made a joke response of them being arrested, joking that that is what would happen if they actually did invite Piper to the Bop House, even acknowledging that she is only 17. But some people in the comments still didn't let up. One person said that they need Piper because she would be a good addition, while others suggested that they wait a year until she turns 18, which is very obviously grooming and incredibly disturbing. They would let it die out for a bit until March 1st of 2025, when they would strategically post a video to the Bop House alt account. And I say strategically because they know the amount of backlash that they would have gotten if they had posted this video to their main account. And that video was titled "Welcoming Piper to Our House." And the caption read, "Welcome the new member of the Bop House." Now, they can say that this is a joke all they want, but at the end of the day, this is blatantly hinting that a minor has joined a house full of OnlyFans creators. There are so many people out there with adult accounts who they could have chosen to collaborate with, but instead they decided that they wanted to make a video with someone who is a minor. And it's not even like she's turning 18 at the end of the month or something. She isn't 18 until August. Even that is morally questionable if she does start an adult account or join the Bop House when she does turn 18. And anyone who would buy that content genuinely deserves to be in prison. There are two major aspects of the audience that I want to bring up in regards to Piper herself, because number one, her audience mainly consists of children. So she's inadvertently advertising an adult house to a bunch of minors. And secondly, like I mentioned before, the Bop House, full of adult models, is now promoting a child. Not only to other children, but also to the other part of their audience, creepy adults. Trust me, there is so much more to this aspect that we'll be diving into later, so just keep in mind the audience. In a video posted to the account on the 2nd of March, they make another video with Piper, joking about if they should invite her to the Bop House, with the caption saying that they might. It's clear what they're trying to do here. They're trying to keep literal predators engaged to their content on the off chance that a minor actually joins the house. It's strategic and it's disturbing. But the worst part is that they even lied about how they went about meeting up with her in the first place. They claim that they randomly came across her in a shopping mall and then invited her back to the house, but other people have claimed that they had heard Piper say that she was actually flying out to purposefully meet with the Bop House. It seems like an attempt from the Bop House to try and cover their tracks by acting like this was some sort of off-the-cuff thing rather than a planned collaboration, which it seems it was. It's not just people like us that think the Bop House were in the wrong either, because one member, Joy May, actually left the house over the situation. She basically makes the same point that there were so many people over the age of 18 that they could have chosen to make content with, and instead they chose to do it with a minor. And she also says that she would never make any type of content with a minor because of what she does. Right enough. This is the internet, these people are influencers, this beef could all be fake, but I really hope that Joy is being serious, because it would mean that someone in this situation has some sort of moral. Because no one in the Bop House has morals, and no one taking care of Piper does either. Because if we want to seriously explore the rabbit hole of disturbing content featuring kids, then we need to speak about Piper, Rockelle, and her mother. For years, Piper's own mother has been profiting off of sexualizing her own daughter. This goes back years, because when Piper was extremely young, her channel was posting suggestive titles and thumbnails that I'm not even sure I can show. In one video, her boyfriend is working out and she is bent over with the peach emoji plastered on top. Reminder that this channel was run by her own mother, the same woman who had to settle a lawsuit with multiple children over abuse allegations. And if we're all being real, Piper isn't even seeing most of that money. Her channel has over 12 million subscribers with over 3.5 billion views to date, yet her mother is raking all of that in. For years she has basically just been using Piper as a live cash cow, and with the most recent video being uploaded just 3 months ago, this is still ongoing to an extent. And because of what I'm about to tell you next, I have no regret in saying that I genuinely believe that her mother needs to be put behind bars. Piper has a page hosted by Brand Army. And before it was banned just last week, it garnered 80,000 likes and 30,000 comments, with a total of 16,000 photos having been posted to the page. But you may be asking, what kind of content was being posted here? Well, the page, which mentions in the bio that it is run by Piper's parents, was posting photos of Piper and her other underage friends in very little clothing and bikinis. Even the bio reads, "I'm excited to share more with you." And with this and also the emojis used, some people have said that it reads like something you would see on an adult site like OnlyFans or Fansly. The tiers range from free at one point to just over $100, and just think for a second about who the people are that can actually afford to buy this. It isn't other minors, because they aren't going to have the disposable income to throw at something like this, but rather it's going to be adults who are going to their job, bringing home a wage, and spending it on what I can only describe as very dodgy images of kids. That's a problem. And let's just keep in mind the amount of photos that were actually posted to this page. Literally thousands. I just wonder how long she's actually had this page for, and how much money her mother has actually made from selling these images. A lot of people would describe these as indecent images of children, which is against the law. Going back to the tiers, you can actually message Piper with one of the tiers, which isn't actually Piper, it's her mother, but still, anyone who's buying this with the intent of messaging a minor needs to be put in some sort of list. You can also get a private set and custom orders, and again, who the hell is purchasing a tier with the intent of getting custom photos of a minor in a bikini? That is very much towing the line of legality. And I want to dive into Piper's mother a bit more because I read through the entire 147-page lawsuit against her, and I'm going to give you the highlights to show you how dark this really goes. Tiffany Smith, Piper's mum, never financially compensated anyone who featured in Piper's videos, despite the channel generating upwards of several hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. She would also regularly make sexually explicit comments about the squad members at the time who were all minors. In addition, it seems as though all of the revealing clothes that the minors were wearing in the thumbnails over the years were actually as a result of Tiffany, because according to the people who filed the lawsuit, she would actually pick the outfits out purposefully, giving the girls short skirts and low-cut tops, and giving the boys tight-fitting jeans and sweatpants. According to one of the boys who was presented as Piper's crush in the videos, Tiffany actually told him to be more sexually aggressive with her daughter so that the crush dynamic would appear more real. She would also tell both the boys and girls to take off various pieces of clothing for the thumbnail because, in her words, sells. In more disturbing instances, some of the children say that Tiffany would describe herself as the pimp of YouTube, and she even bragged about basically getting away with making what could be seen as explicit content of minors. The wording in the lawsuit for that part was so much worse that I cannot even risk saying it on this channel. Another minor claims that they witnessed Tiffany mailing out several pieces of Piper's worn clothing to unknown individuals, and I'm not talking about t-shirts or stuff like that, I'm talking underwear. She allegedly remarked when asked about it that old men like to smell that stuff. When all the minors eventually had enough and left Piper's squad, they claimed that Tiffany would use methods to drive down their views, subscribers, and just overall revenue. And this was extreme because I'm talking some of these minors went from making like $14,000 per month to not even making over $1,000. The whole lawsuit eventually ended on a settlement worth almost $2 million. But this shines a whole new light on what we're really seeing right now with Piper. It's clear that she is essentially being manipulated and used by her own mum. And because of that, the pictures that are being put out there are being used by people who I can only describe as predators. And it all starts on Twitter. And this is where the rabbit hole really goes deep. Now let me just clarify that do not search this up on Twitter. Please report it. I'll include all the relevant reporting links in the description, and I will also be reporting it myself. I'm aware that speaking about something like this, you're always taking a bit of a risk that this video is going to reach the wrong type of people, but I have faith in my audience that we can report it enough that it can be taken down. One search of our name on Twitter and you will be greeted with people reposting photos that I can only imagine were the ones originally posted on Brand Army. And the people who are reposting these aren't aren't children. If you look at the profiles, you'll see that they are adults, whose only goal is to get off. This is how deep the rabbit hole goes, and don't worry, everything I'm going to show you is going to be blurred. I didn't see anything bad. Technically, there's not actually anything illegal here, it's just very morally questionable. That's why I hope that the reports will work, but I'm aware that we're also running a risk that Twitter aren't going to do anything because, like I say, there's not actually anything illegal. It's just very morally questionable for normal people like me and you. So I recorded a video to show you just how easy it is to fall down this rabbit hole. Okay, so I'm genuinely not sure how much of this I'm going to be able to show, but to show you what I mean, to show you just how easy it is for these predators to access this content, if you try to search up Piper's name, say you're coming from TikTok after the whole, controversy with the Bop House and you want to see what people are saying, one type of her name and you will immediately be greeted with a picture that I can only assume was on her brand army page. And then the more you scroll, the more it's just people posting about it. Let's take this guy for example, ZXLYY. So immediately on this poster saying, anyone want to talk about Piper Rockelle? Keep in mind she is a minor. And if we go onto this guy's profile, he doesn't have any information about himself, of course, but it's already disturbing because just by the first tweet that was made March 13th, it's currently the 16th of March at the time, so just 3 days ago, he was saying, anyone want to trade IRL/high school exes? HS stands for high school, and he's basically asking if people want to trade pictures for people to get off on, pictures of minors, and he's just putting this out there. And as you can see, this tweet has 176,000 views, and this guy did say on his profile that he's 18, so he's only a year older than Piper. It's still weird, don't get me wrong, because, adults will interact with this tweet, adults will see this tweet, and people are like replying. And again, let's take this tweet for example by a guy called Simp for Char Char. If we go to his profile, we can see that he's a simp for Charlie, who I can only assume is Charlie D'Amelio from the profile picture. But it's literally just, obviously I can't show this, but he's literally just posting to his page. And, putting content of a minor on the same page is crazy, especially because he's hashtagged it with things like feet worship and bops, which are obviously sexual terms. And I guarantee if we click on this hashtag, it's just going to get even worse. Again, this exposes a whole new rabbit hole because I guarantee that a lot of the, don't get me wrong, these photos are fully clothed, but still, it presents a very clear issue that's going on right now where people are just posting these images, getting off to them, of girls who may not even be aware that their pictures are being reposted for these purposes, and most of the time I can almost certainly guarantee that they're underage. And again, it's so easy for someone to fall down this rabbit hole. If we take this, for example, this tweet has been tagged with bops, which is, the sexual term, but if we click on this guy's profile, in his bio he has, DM your sesh for trade. Now, I made a video on Telegram a while back, and Session is basically the same thing. It's another app that people can use to anonymously communicate with each other, and a lot of the time it is sadly used by predators to share stuff like this. And if we go into his followers list, I can guarantee it's going to get even worse. Yep, right there. This guy called Gundaburo82 saying, corrupt me with some pervy shit on Teleguard, and once again, Teleguard is basically a rip-off Telegram from what I can gather, where it's basically just the same. You can share things without the risk of being tracked. And I'm pretty sure that what's underneath this is some sort of session username as well. So again, this guy has multiple ways for people to get in touch with him, and as you can see, he's a private account, but he has almost 2,000 followers. And you can only imagine what he's posting there, and you've even got this guy here, who has NL in his bio, which stands for no limits. These are literally predators and pedophiles on Twitter, and you can easily get to it by just searching for Piper Rockelle. And these people have access to everything just by searching up a name. And again, from this Simp for Char Char person, it's a clothed picture, but you can just read the caption here. It's awful. And this hashtag of this whole thing, a few months ago, I didn't even know what the word gooner meant. I thought it was just some sort of internet meme that I'm getting too old for after I turned 20. But oh my god, this goes so deep and it's such an awful rabbit hole. So if you don't know, gooners are basically people with porn addictions, from what I can gather. And basically what they're doing is they're sending sexually explicit content to each other in order for them to get off to. But as it would appear, if you are into this stuff, which, I mean, like, each to their own, as long as you're not actually doing anything illegal, but it feels like there's such a thin line here where people can so easily cross over to then, you know, looking at pictures of kids. And again, I guarantee if I look at this simp for Charchar's person followers that there's going to be some dodgy stuff in here. And there we go, immediately I found an account who's got in the bio Piper's #1 perv, and they've got 18 plus NSFW in the bio as well. And probably the most disturbing part, they have over 1,000 followers. And look, if we keep scrolling down this follower list, there's definitely going to be more disturbing stuff. Like, even if we just go to a random one of these accounts, so take this one for example, and we go to their followers, I guarantee that there's going to be something messed up here. Yep, there already, an 18-year-old who's got no limits in their bio with a Telegram. And it's just awful, because it really is just a rabbit hole that anyone can fall into. I literally found all of that, as you saw, by typing in the name of a child, and immediately you fall down a rabbit hole of these gooners. It's really bad and something needs to be done. Again, this is a bit of a debate because I'm aware there's two sides of this, and again, there's nothing technically illegal here, although I'm sure it has to break some sort of law. This is what I would describe as a predator ring, and there's so much more to this. So what can we do? Well, it all starts with me and you. We can report it to Twitter and also other agencies, which again, I've linked in the description. And this raises a massive question about, you know, algorithms of social media sites, because suggestive content involving minors is being pushed to the For You page of adults on not only TikTok but also places like Twitter. And I'm sorry, but normalizing people just turning 18 and starting an adult page is very concerning and something that shouldn't be normalized. There's nothing wrong with doing sex work. I don't have a problem with what adults want to do, but I feel like people starting pages like this when they turn 18 is wrong. And me genuinely, I think there should be an age of consent for that thing where you have to be at least 21. And it's very clear that the Bop House as a whole prioritizes views and attention over responsibility. Speaking on Piper more specifically, I have no doubt in saying that she has been exploited her whole life. I hope that one day she comes to realize that and actually gives her side of the story. She has hinted that she wants to say some things but won't until she turns 18, so maybe in August we'll hear her side. And in terms of what we can do, like I say, reporting the content is the most important thing, but at the same time, don't go and actively seek it out. And again, platforms just need to take more responsibility. Children on social media are not protected in the slightest, and it's extremely concerning. But for now, I suppose this is where the Piper, Rockelle and the Bop House rabbit hole ends. But let's hope that we can all do our part in putting an end to this disturbing internet rabbit hole. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share the video, do all of that good stuff. It really helps the channel and I really appreciate you. Let me know in the comments what you think of this whole situation. It's incredibly disturbing. Don't forget to check out my social media. I have Blue Sky and Instagram. And of course, thank you to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members who make this possible. Brooke Entrepreneur, Maury Gann, K4 Silver, Alex Rod, Based Finger, Carmilla, Tango Slime, and Shoshka. I'll be back on Friday with another video, but if you want more content right now, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy the video on your screen.